Chapter 18. Jenny? What's wrong? Jenny didn't reply. She was thinking too hard about her sudden inspiration. Jenny? Cal reached across the table and took her hand. Earth calling Jenny. Oh, sorry. She smiled at him, but she still wasn't ready to talk. Her mind felt supercharged, as if she could feel electricity coursing through her head, through her entire body. Suddenly, everything, or almost everything, made sense. She knew she was right. She knew she had just solved the mystery, but knowing the answer didn't solve the problem, and knowing who was doing it didn't tell her why. Whoa, Jenny, you're a million miles away, Cal complained, still holding her hand. You've got ketchup on your arm, she said, pointing. They both laughed. The laughter helped to bring her back to Cal. She pulled a napkin out of the dispenser and helped wipe the sticky ketchup off his arm. I just solved the mystery, she told him, while I was talking to you. I told you I'm a great listener, he said. I know who's been calling me. I know who's been trying to frighten me. He balled up the ketchup-stained napkin and tossed it into a glass ashtray. Jenny. Who? Dr. Schindler. Cal didn't react at all, just stared at her, expressionless. Didn't you hear me? It's Dr. Schindler, she repeated, pounding the table for emphasis. Cal narrowed his blue eyes thoughtfully, but he still didn't say anything. You don't believe me, do you? Jenny accused. Why Dr. Schindler? He asked, finally finding his voice. I know it's him, Jenny said. It has to be him. Why? Cal repeated. He watched over her shoulder as the three teenagers got up and left, bumping each other as they made their way out the glass door. He's the only one who knows the whole story, don't you see? Jenny asked. There was a plea in her voice. Please believe me, she was saying to Cal. Yeah, but what does that prove? Cal asked, staring hard at her as if trying to penetrate her mind, invade her thoughts. I've told him everything, Jenny said excitedly. Every detail, every word Mr. Hagen said to me. Dr. Schindler is the only other person besides Chuck who knows everything. So what makes you think it isn't Chuck? Cal asked, rolling the plastic salt and pepper shakers in his hands. Chuck is angry at me because I broke up with him, Jenny explained, but he isn't really a bad guy. He was with me all through that terrible time. He helped me a lot. He knows what a nightmare it was. He would never try to scare me about it. He would never pretend to be Mr. Hagen. I know Chuck. Even with his bad temper, he'd never do that to me. He just wouldn't. Cal thought about it for a while, fiddling with the salt and pepper. So we're back to my original question. Why Dr. Schindler? I don't really know why, Jenny said thoughtfully. I mean, I don't know why he's doing it to me. I just know he's the only one it could be. I've gone over the story about Mr. Hagen with him again and again. Dr. Schindler knows every detail, every dream I've ever had about it, every thought I've had, every fear. But, Jenny, and he looked so nervous at the mall parking lot tonight, so uncomfortable, Jenny continued, not giving Cal a chance to break her train of thought. What was he doing there, Cal? His car wasn't even near mine. What was he doing there? Cal started to say something, but Jenny answered for him. It wasn't a coincidence. He was following me. I'm sure of it. He wanted to scare me. He knew about my dream that took place there. He knew. You know, I'm remembering more things about him now, Jenny said, thinking hard. Like what? Cal asked, rubbing the scar on his chin. Like how he always asks me where I'm going and where I'm going to be. What do you mean, Jenny? He wants to know if I'll be babysitting at the Wexners or not. He's always so curious about where I'll be after my sessions with him. And why is that? Because he's really interested in you, Cal suggested. No, he's only interested in his clock, in finishing on time and getting on to the next session. He isn't really interested in me. It's just a job to him. But he asked me those questions about where I'm going to be because he wants to know where to call. He wants to know where I'll be so he can frighten me. It's so obvious. She looked at Cal, eager for him to agree with her, but his face was still filled with doubt. Why, Jenny? He asked. You have to answer that question. Why would Dr. Schindler do that to you? Why would he try to frighten you? Maybe he's crazy, Jenny suggested. She flung up her arms in frustration. I don't know. Maybe it's a new kind of shock therapy. Cal laughed. He stopped when he saw the irritated look on Jenny's face. There's no motive, he said. Dr. Schindler has no motive. But if it isn't Dr. Schindler, it has to be Mr. Hagen, Jenny said, fear tightening her features. If it isn't Dr. Schindler, that means Mr. Hagen really is back. That means I'm being pursued by a dead man, a zombie, some kind of monster. I really don't want to believe that, Cal. I really don't. Maybe it's the little boy, Cal suggested quietly. No, Jenny insisted. It's Dr. Schindler. I know it is. I should have known the second I saw that look on his face in the parking lot. I should have known. She grabbed Cal's hand. I'm going to prove it, Cal. His eyes narrowed as he studied her face, still trying to read her thoughts. How? How are you going to prove it? I'm going to set a trap for him, Jenny said. You've got to help me, Cal. You've got to. Even if you don't believe me, you've got to help me. Chapter 19. The doctor is running a little late this morning, Miss Gurney said, looking up from her typewriter. That's unusual, Jenny replied, glancing around the empty waiting room. Her eyes stopped at the tropical fish tank built into the wall. The fish all seemed to be darting wildly up and down. They're as nervous as I am today, Jenny thought. I just fed them, Miss Gurney said, following Jenny's glance. I like your hair, dear. Did you do something new to it? No, just washed it this morning, Jenny said absently. Fascinated by the frenzied fish, she walked up to the tank to get a better look. Such a lovely color, Miss Gurney continued. I always wanted dark brown hair like yours. Mine was always such a mousy color, so washed out. The inner door opened, and Dr. Schindler poked his head out, looking all around the waiting room. Good morning, Jenny. Admiring the fish? Look at them. They're going crazy, Jenny exclaimed. Crazy isn't a word we use in this office, Dr. Schindler said, pursing his lips. Jenny realized he had just made a joke, so she forced a brief laugh. Shall we begin? He dropped some files onto Miss Gurney's desk, then motioned for Jenny to follow him into the office. Even the fish knows something strange is going on here, Jenny thought. She took a seat on the leather couch. Dr. Schindler slid into his chair and pulled it up to the desk. He looks tired, Jenny thought. He looks as if he were trying to look super alert and energetic to hide the fact that he is tired. You're hiding something, Jenny thought. You're hiding something, but I'm going to get it out into the open. I'm going to end all this so I can go on with my life. She felt a sudden tremor of fear. Here I am, closed up in this room with the man who has been threatening me. He's a monster, a Jekyll and Hyde, but not for much longer. You seem very pensive today, he said, leaning forward, elbows on the desk, propping his chin in his hands, concentrating all of his attention on her. Jenny didn't know how to reply to that, so she waited for him to go on. What would you like to talk about today? He asked. Well, Jenny started, taking a deep breath, clasping her hands together tightly in her lap. I have this idea. Idea? Yeah, about how to stop my nightmares. You know, how to get this all behind me. I'd like to hear your idea, he said quietly, staring into her eyes. Well, it's just a feeling I have. A feeling? Can you describe it? Well, Jenny said, pretending to be working it out in her mind, even though she had rehearsed this carefully. These nightmares, these fears, I just have the feeling I'm never going to leave them behind me unless I face them head on. She stopped and looked to see how he reacted. Go on, he said, his face a blank. Well, she continued, wondering what he was really thinking. To cut right to the chase, my idea is to go back to the rock quarry. His eyes blinked wide in surprise. Then he quickly resumed his blank expression. To go back to the quarry, at night, to face this thing down, to show myself that there's nothing there, that it's just a pile of rocks, that there's nothing in that rock quarry that's going to come after me. I know it sounds crazy. He cleared his throat. As I said, we don't use that word around here. I just have the feeling that if I face it again, face it one last time, I can put the whole dreadful experience behind me, Jenny said, and then maybe the nightmares will stop, and the strange phone calls, the strange thoughts that flash through my mind, everything will go away. She watched him carefully to see if he'd react when she mentioned the phone calls, but he remained stone-faced. I can see you've given this a great deal of thought, he said finally, seeming to choose his words carefully. And I think your idea is an interesting one, and one we should discuss. He cleared his throat again. But I feel that it is my obligation to warn you, Jenny, that there is no quick solution to your problems, no easy answer. We should try everything we can, and, mainly, we should continue to talk. But you've got to realize that this could be a very long process, years even. You suffered quite a trauma, let's not forget, the kind of trauma that most people never experience in a lifetime. With time, I think you will find your life, your thoughts, your subconscious thoughts. All will return to what we could call normal. She stared at him, trying to figure out what was going on in his mind while those smooth, professional words were coming out. Are you thinking about your next whispered phone call, Dr. Schindler? Are you thinking about what threat you're going to whisper next time? Jenny wondered if he had other patients he terrorized, or if she was the only one. Why me, she wondered. Why me? So, are you recommending that I not go back to the quarry? She asked. He picked up his desk clock and rolled it between his hands. Not necessarily, he said. It's hard to say. It might be beneficial in some ways, or it might serve to deepen your anxieties. I'm going to do it, Jenny said decisively, sitting up straight. I've made up my mind, Dr. Schindler. I just know it's going to help me. Well, if you feel so strongly, he started. I'm going there tonight, Jenny declared. Dr. Schindler switched off his tape recorder. Good luck, he said. Something about the way he said it gave Jenny the chills. Chapter 20. Jenny, I'm back. Jenny, lost in thought, felt a jolt as she heard those words. She spun around to see Eli smiling at her. What did you say? She asked. I said I'm back, Eli repeated impatiently. I went out to get the mail. I put it on the kitchen table. Oh, Jenny realized she was breathing hard. Are you okay? Eli asked. Yes, I'm fine. I was just thinking about something else, Jenny said, giving his hair a playful tug. After her session with Dr. Schindler, she had been distracted all afternoon. She had barely paid any attention at all to Eli, and when Rick had called to apologize for acting like a jerk, she had cut him off quickly without really meaning to, leaving him thinking that she was still mad at him. All she could think about was the rock quarry. She kept picturing it in her mind, seeing it at night the way she had seen it the first time. The flat, hard, barren ground leading up to the quarry, the enormous, deep, dark pit, the sheer drop, the sharp rocks far down below, jutting up in the darkness. Thinking about going there brought back all of the terror of that dreadful night last fall. But Jenny's mind was made up. She knew she had to do it. She had to make the nightmares stop. She had to end the constant fear, all of the fear. She had to expose Dr. Schindler. Then she had to get on with her life. She was thinking about her dream for the millionth time, seeing Mr. Hagen, his dead flesh rotting away, climbing up from the quarry pit, coming after her, when Mrs. Wexner returned home. Oh, hi, Jenny said, jumping up from the couch, shaking her head hard as if trying to shake her thoughts away. How is Eli today? Mrs. Wexner asked, stepping out of her high heels, rubbing her feet through her sheer stockings. Fine, Jenny said. She realized she hasn't paid much attention to Eli. I'll make it up to him on Saturday, she thought. Eli appeared in the living room doorway, chocolate stains around his mouth. Eli, what have you been eating? It's almost dinner time, Mrs. Wexner scolded. Nothing, Eli replied, unaware that the chocolate gave him away. Well, say goodbye to Jenny. She's leaving. Without warning, Eli came rushing up to Jenny and gave her an enthusiastic hug. She hugged him back briefly, then started toward the door, but he wouldn't let go. He clung tightly to her, pressing his head against her waist. It's as if he knows something is going to happen, Jenny thought. It's as if he senses that I'm about to do something dangerous, that he might never see me again. She scolded herself for letting her imagination run away with her. Eli doesn't sense anything, she told herself. He's just trying to make it difficult for me to leave. I'll see you on Saturday, she told him, gently prying him off her. She made her way quickly to the front door and hurried out without looking back. I hope I see you on Saturday, she thought. I hope I'm still alive on Saturday. As she walked home, a red sun lowering in a cloudless, darkening sky, she could see the quarry opening up in front of her, see the endlessly deep pit, the deadly rocks awaiting below. She started to run along the curb, and, lost in her dark, frightening thoughts, nearly ran past her house before she realized where she was. She forced herself to be cheerful at dinner, making up funny anecdotes about Eli to her mother. She wondered if her mother could tell that she was putting on an act. Cal picked her up in his little car a few minutes after 7:30. He seemed nervous and serious, his eyes flat and lusterless, without their usual sparkle. Why don't we just go to a movie, he suggested, only half kidding. After tonight, we can go to the movies every night, Jenny said, squeezing his arm. They were out of town, driving through farmland now, the dark fields interrupted by occasional silos and low farmhouses. "What do you think is going to happen?" Cal asked, his eyes on the road, both hands gripping the top of the wheel tightly. The question took Jenny by surprise. She had spent so much time thinking about the past, about what had happened at the quarry, about Mr. Hagan, about her dreams, her nightmares, that she hadn't given much thought to what would happen when she actually returned to the quarry. "I don't know," she said edgily. "I guess I'll look around and remember everything." "You already remember everything," Cal interrupted. "You're not being helpful," Jenny said sharply. "Don't give me a hard time." He quickly apologized, his eyes on the road. "I know this seems crazy to you, Cal, but you haven't lived inside my skin for the past 6 months. You haven't had my nightmares." The farms gave way to barren flatlands. Theirs was the only car on the road. "Dr. Schindler will be there," Jenny continued. "I know he will. He'll try to frighten me, but he won't be counting on you being there." "What am I supposed to do?" Cal asked, trying to sound calm and businesslike, but unable to keep the worry from his voice. "Just be there," Jenny said. "I think that'll be enough. Once Dr. Schindler sees that he's been found out, he'll give up. He'll run." "What if he wants to fight or something?" Cal demanded. "He's a shrink. He won't fight," Jenny said. "He'll be afraid of you, Cal. You look tough. He's probably never been in an actual fight in his life." "Are you telling me the truth?" Cal asked, following the road as it curved through the dark, flat countryside. "Of course I am," Jenny told him. "Don't worry. He won't fight. When he sees you, he'll run." "Maybe he won't show up," Cal said. "Right," Jenny said sarcastically. "Maybe Mr. Hagan will show up instead. Maybe my nightmare will come true, and Mr. Hagan will leap up out of the quarry with his skin falling off and his skull showing, and he'll grab us both and take us back to his grave with him." Cal didn't reply. "I'm sorry," Jenny said quickly. "Don't pay any attention to me. I'm just nervous." "Don't worry," Cal said softly. His face, caught in the bright headlights of an oncoming car, looked hard as if set for trouble. She had never seen that expression before. "I'll be right here," he said through gritted teeth. For some reason, those words, meant to comfort her, gave her a sudden chill. Cal hit the brakes hard, startling her, and turned off the road. The small car bounced onto a bumpy dirt road. "Cal, what are you doing?" Jenny cried. "I almost missed a turnoff," he said. "It isn't very clearly marked. Guess I don't expect many visitors at night." "We're here," Jenny said, thinking aloud. "Afraid?" he asked. She wanted to answer, but her reply caught in her throat. Chapter 21. Cal cut the engine and switched off the headlights. The world went completely black for a moment. Then Jenny began to make out dark shapes and shades of black and gray. She pushed open the car door, took a deep breath of the hot, humid air, and stepped out onto the hard rock ground. Cal took her hand as they walked toward the quarry edge. "It's different," Jenny said, whispering, squeezing his hand tightly. Her hand was ice cold. His felt warm and dry. "Those piles of gravel," she whispered, pointing to the tall, dark mountain shapes around them. "They weren't here last fall." "Guess they've been working here," Cal whispered back. "Strange," Jenny whispered as they walked closer to the edge. "This place was deserted for years." "How do you feel? Are you okay?" Cal asked. He put an arm heavily around her shoulder. Straight ahead, about 20 yards ahead, lay the enormous pit. Jenny couldn't see it. She could just make out where the ground stopped and gave way to total blackness. "I'm frightened, but I'm okay," Jenny whispered. "Can we leave now?" Cal asked. She couldn't tell if he was serious or not. "Go hide over there," she said, pointing to the nearest mound of gravel. "Maybe I should just stay here with you," he insisted, his arm around her tightly. "No," she said. "I want to stand here alone. I want to face this alone, and—" She stopped. They both saw the flash of light in the trees. Car headlights. They could hear a car bumping along the dirt road. The lights went out. Then the car sound stopped, far down the road. "Dr. Schindler, I knew it," Jenny whispered excitedly. Her heart pounded in her chest. She gave Cal a soft shove. "Quick, hide, behind that gravel." "But, Jenny," he started to protest, but changed his mind and jogged off to the gravel pile. "I'll be right here," he called back in a loud whisper. He disappeared behind a dark mound of stones. Jenny stood alone, breathing hard, her eyes surveying the dark mounds around the quarry. Behind her lay the open pit, black and silent. "No ghost here tonight," she thought, reassuring herself. No one back from the grave. Just me and Cal and a visitor, a living human visitor. She stood still as a statue, watching, listening. She could hear the crunch of footsteps approaching, hurrying over the hard ground. I hear you, Dr. Schindler, she thought. I hear you. I'm waiting for you. I'm ready for you. Her senses seemed to be heightened by her fear. She could smell the rocks. She could hear each approaching footstep. She felt as if she could see the air. I'm ready. I'm ready. And then suddenly, the dark figure loomed in front of her. Jenny, I'm here. The hoarse, whispered voice. Closer, closer, until Jenny could see her pursuer perfectly. You! Jenny cried in astonishment. What are you doing here? Chapter 22. Jenny, I'm here. But why? Jenny cried, taking a step back as the figure moved closer. Company's coming. I don't believe it, Jenny cried. Why you? Miss Gurney took another step toward Jenny. Her hair, usually tied tightly behind her head, dropped wildly about her face. She wore baggy black slacks and a black blouse, long sleeves despite the heat. Why? Jenny cried, still stunned at the identity of her pursuer. Why have you been doing this to me? You can't have him, Miss Gurney said in her hoarse voice. She stopped advancing on Jenny and put her hands on her wide hips. What? I don't understand, Jenny exclaimed. You can't have him, Miss Gurney repeated. You can't have Dr. Schindler. But, I don't. You have boyfriends, lots of boyfriends, Miss Gurney continued, spitting out her words scornfully. You have everything, don't you? The pretty hair, the nice clothes, and the boyfriends. I know everything about you, Jenny. I listen to the tapes. They tell me everything. Miss Gurney, I really don't know why. Shut up, the woman screamed, moving forward in a rage. Shut up, shut up, shut up. You can't have him. I've seen the doctor with his hand on your shoulder. I've seen how he talks to you. He hardly says a word to me. I'm just a patient, Jenny screamed. I was a patient too, Miss Gurney shouted back. But now he ignores me. Day after day he ignores me, while you get all the attention. He spends hours listening to your tapes. He spends hours talking with you. Why should you have everything? Why can't I have anything? Please, calm down, Jenny pleaded. Let's talk, okay? I've got to keep her talking, Jenny thought. Maybe I can make her see that this is all crazy. Crazy! Calm down, she said. Let's have a nice, quiet talk about Dr. Schindler, just you and me. I won't calm down, Miss Gurney screamed, backing Jenny closer to the quarry edge. Why should I calm down? The doctor doesn't even look at me anymore, but he looks at you, at your pretty clean hair. Oh, he looks at you all right, with your nice clothes, and all of your nightmares, all those nightmares to talk about with my doctor for hours and hours, all those nightmares I listens to on your tapes. Miss Gurney paused to take a breath. Well, guess what, Jenny? Guess what? I'm your nightmare now. I'm your nightmare. And there's no Dr. Schindler to tell it to. There's just you and me, dear. I don't understand. Let's just talk, Jenny begged, as Miss Gurney drew closer. You made those frightening phone calls? You put the dead tarantula in my bag while I was seeing the doctor? I just wanted you to notice me, Miss Gurney said, lowering her voice ominously. I just wanted you to know that I knew what you were up to, that I wouldn't let you get away with it, and I won't. You can't have him. You can't have him! What are you going to do? Jenny asked, backing away from the steadily approaching woman. You're going to die like that poor Mr. Hagen died, Miss Gurney said. Without further warning, she rushed at Jenny, her arms outstretched, ready to push Jenny over the quarry edge. No! Jenny screamed. Cal, help! She saw Cal leap out from behind the mound of gravel, running at full speed. Startled by the unexpected sound of someone behind her, Miss Gurney turned. What? She cried. Who's there? With a loud groan, Cal leaped at her, intent on tackling her, bringing her to the ground. But Miss Gurney dived to the ground just as he leaped. Cal sailed over the startled woman, and as Jenny watched in horror and disbelief, Cal plunged over the edge, head first, into the quarry. Chapter 23. He's gone, Jenny thought. Cal is gone. I've killed him, just as I killed Mr. Hagen. Killed my own friend. Jenny saw Miss Gurney climbing slowly to her feet, a pleased smile on her face, her hair flying wildly about her head. And then Jenny saw the hand reach up over the quarry side. My dream, she thought in horror. My dream is coming true. A second hand appeared on the edge of the pit, and then 2 arms. It's Mr. Hagen, Jenny thought. He really has come back. She stood frozen to the spot, paralyzed as in the dream, and she waited to see the decaying flesh, the empty eye socket, the grinning, evil face of the dead man. But the face that appeared at the edge of the pit wasn't Mr. Hagen's. It was Cal's. Soaking wet, Cal pulled himself up onto the ground. The quarry. It's been filled with water, Jenny realized. She had screamed so loudly when Cal plunged over the side that she didn't hear the splash. Cal, are you okay? She started toward him, but Miss Gurney grabbed her around the waist. Let go, Jenny cried, struggling to free herself. You can't have him. You can't, Miss Gurney shrieked, squeezing Jenny's waist, trying to wrestle her over the edge. Let go, Jenny repeated. The big woman was surprisingly strong. You can't have him. You can't have him. She gave Jenny a hard push, then toppled on top of her. Jenny felt the ground disappear, saw the dark water loom up. Both of them plunged into the cold, still quarry water. Down, down, Miss Gurney held tightly, wouldn't let go. Jenny flailed her arms and legs. She tried to kick the big woman away with her knees, but Miss Gurney held Jenny's waist in an ever-tightening grip. So cold, so heavy, so dark in this water, dark as death. They floated to the surface, their heads popping above the water. Both gulped in mouthfuls of air. Let go, Jenny managed to cry. She pushed Miss Gurney hard, and the woman lost her grip on Jenny for a moment. Sputtering, kicking, Jenny tried to swim to the edge, but Miss Gurney grabbed her arm, pulled her back, then pushed her head under the water. She's too strong, Jenny thought. Her rage makes her strong. She kicked at the woman and pulled with all her strength, but Miss Gurney had a tight grip on Jenny's head, pushing down with both hands now. Dark, then darker, dark as death, cold as death. Jenny flailed frantically but couldn't free herself. Her lungs felt about to burst. Miss Gurney pushed her head down, down, holding her head below the surface. I'm going to drown, Jenny realized. I'm starting to drown. I can't hold my breath any longer, Jenny thought, as everything turned bright red. Chapter 24. Up, up. She was floating up, up through the water, still red. Everything was still red, flashing on and off, red then black, red then black. Where was Miss Gurney? Gone, lost in the red, everything so red. Have I drowned? No. Jenny realized she was breathing. Someone was holding on to her, pulling her up. Cal. Cal? It's you? He was pulling her out of the water. She felt so heavy, so tired and so heavy, like a rock from the quarry. Cal? Why is everything so red? He pulled her up and held her close. The world started to come back into focus. There were cars all around, and men, flashing red then black, red then black. Jenny realized that the flashing red lights were on top of cars, police cars. Several police officers were trying to fish Miss Gurney out of the water. She splashed and screamed. She wasn't cooperating. She was refusing to come out. Cal, we're okay, Jenny said, resting her head against his soaked shirt. Yeah, we're okay, Cal said quietly. I got her off you just in time. You're okay, a man's voice cried. He stepped out of the shadows into the blinking red light. Dr. Schindler, Jenny cried, holding tightly to Cal. How? Why? I brought the police, Dr. Schindler said. You're okay? You're both okay? Just wet, Jenny said. But how did you know? I couldn't find your tapes this evening. They were missing, completely gone. Then I figured out what was going on, Dr. Schindler said. I should have figured it out when you first told me about the phone calls. I just didn't think. Miss Gurney, Jenny said, pointing toward the water, where the frantic woman was still screaming at the police, still splashing in the water. She had violent, jealous episodes before, Dr. Schindler said. That's what I treated her for. She was doing reasonably well, I thought. She had worked for me for 3 years without incident. But when I saw that she had taken your tapes, I knew she had to be the one who was frightening you. and I knew that she would come here tonight after listening to today's tape. I'm just so glad you're okay." Apologizing again for not figuring it out sooner, Dr. Schindler hurried down to the quarry edge to try to help persuade Miss Gurney out of the water. "You two can leave," a policeman said quietly. "Get into some dry clothes. We'll get a statement from you." Jenny thanked the policeman. Cal, his arm around Jenny's shoulder, gently led her toward the car. "Had enough of the quarry?" he asked. "Yes," she nodded, shivering. "I don't think I'll ever need to see this horrid place again." "Good," he said, holding open the car door for her. "Does this mean we can go to the movies instead?" She stood facing him, one hand on the car door, one hand on the soggy front of his shirt. "Yes. From now on, the movies," she said. "What would you like to see?" "Well," his laughing eyes sparkled in the darkness. "Return of the Living Dead is playing at the Sixplex." "Cal," she said, shaking her head, "you have a sick sense of humor." She kissed him. "Thanks," he said. This has been a Nightfall Audiobooks production of The Babysitter II by R.L. Stine, a point horror novel, Book 6. Hi, this is Chris again with Nightfall Audiobooks. Thank you very much for joining me for my production of The Babysitter II by R.L. Stine from the Point Horror series. This was a fun read. I don't think it's the strongest sequel I've ever read. The Wrong Number 2 is my personal favorite for strong sequels, by the way. It was pretty good. It took its time really getting going there. I didn't know it was Miss Gurney until everyone else knew. I have to say this is the 38th R.L. Stine book I've read, almost in a row, and he still manages to get me. I still don't know what is going on until the very end. Sometimes I go, you know what, that twist is coming, where's the twist? And sometimes I get it right. But I didn't see it happening for this book, and it was pretty well done. I was really hoping Mr. Hagen was going to come back, because sometimes you get supernatural stuff like that occurring, like in The Secret Bedroom, the 99 Fear Street series, but it looks like the Point Horror series doesn't really venture into the supernatural too much, which is unfortunate because when it does happen, it's a lot of fun, because it's so over the top and it's so ridiculous and crazy and fun. It's just a blast to read. Eli was okay, pretty smart for a 10-year-old kid. I don't have a whole lot to say about Eli and the babysitting job. I thought Rick and Claire were going to do more, and they didn't. That's okay. I thought maybe Chuck would do something more. Maybe he would be like the false Mr. Hagen, that he would be accused of terrorizing Jenny, but then that would be too easy of a conclusion to jump to, so it couldn't be him. But man, you don't think about it being the secretary. No one thinks about the secretary. This was a pretty good Halloween novel. It had me going there until the very end, and I hope that you enjoyed it. What do I do next? I don't know. Write me an email, nightfallaudiobooks@gmail.com. I am also on YouTube at Nightfall Audiobooks. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I love your comments. I love seeing what you're thinking. Please make suggestions. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell whoever you think would like to listen to me tell them tales from R.L. Stine. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next time.